Hello, it's Jack Gill and welcome to Redmen Academy. We're all looking forward to this evening. It's going to be a massive night for the youth. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do. Tom, I'm with you and your non-concentrated orange juice as we prepare to
smooth.
Smooth
Orange juice, there you go.
Yeah,
you're on the Pepsi Max.
Yeah, as always. You know, nothing different there with me. Just talk through tonight, really. Starting with the basics. Do you think Jurgen Klopp is doing the right thing this evening by playing the youngsters in the replay?
Well, I think he's doing the right thing in terms of he was going to play the youngsters, and I like the fact that he's kept them as a group, if that makes sense. He knows for a fact that, look, he needs to give the senior players a bit of a rest, and he knows that these players can do the job. That's what he's gone out there and done. Is look, he's kind of given Neil Critchley the team, but he knows that these players are good. He knows that they're good enough, and I think, look, regardless, he was going to rest the senior players. So you may as well let the youngsters go out there and show that they can play at this kind of level. And you've got to give Neil Critchley the job. He can't go and sit on the sidelines for me. He needs to let them all go as a squad, as a team in terms of the backroom staff as well. For me,
yeah, for me, I think. My stance has changed on this several times. I think Jurgen Klopp has clearly made his decision. He's clearly very angry at the FA, and it's his idea of making a stand. But I think he should be there in some capacity. You know, we're excited because it's the future of our football club, and Jurgen Klopp may see players there that he likes. And for me, if he's not there, it kind of shows the youngsters that he doesn't particularly care about them. And
well, apparently he's come out and said that he will be watching, obviously, and apparently he's going to be phoning them if changes need to be made at half time. And he doesn't think Critchley's up to that. He will phone them. He said so. He's going to be there and he's going to be watching in some capacity. And I think that's probably good enough. He doesn't need to be at Anfield for me. And look, there'll be a lot of different thoughts in the comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I've had many a conversation with a lot of people about this, and there are so many different aspects and different thoughts on each one of them. I just don't see the point in him being there, if I'm honest, Jack.
I think it's great though that he is giving the youth a chance yet again, and I do think that obviously Neil Critchley knows them better. I get that. Yeah. But I just think it'd be even bigger for these young players to have Jurgen Klopp managing them at Anfield. Yeah. Would be massive for them, and that's taking nothing off Neil Critchley himself. He's a good coach too. But it's different from Jurgen Klopp, isn't it? And to be honest with you, I can see why people are annoyed about it. I'm not asked. Yeah. Particularly, but that's it.
I think they'll do better for, like I say, playing as a group of players who have been together. Yeah. Obviously, you look at the likes of Jones and Elliott, who have been going with the first team, so they've not been fully ingrained in this team. That obviously they've played with them, but they haven't been. Especially Jones has not been there for the whole season, even though he has played well for the unders early on in the season. I remember you saying, but look, they'll do better for being there as a whole squad.
For me, this is a similar sort of side, and we'll talk about starting 11 predictions later on, but this is a similar sort of side for me that we've seen against Southampton in the under-23s, where we completely blew Southampton away, and for me it's going to be very, very good to see this tonight. But yeah, let's go on to starting 11 predictions, Tom. What would you go with tonight?
Well, I've gone with the goalkeeper Kelleher, obviously. I think Williams, Quaver, Boyes and Lewis are the back line. I know you've spoken about Boyes being fantastic all season. For me, I think Quaver needs to go in alongside them. There is a case to be made that Van den Berg comes in. I know we'll kind of speak about that in time, but I just think Quaver's impressed me every time he's come in. For me, I really want to see him develop, because whether it was in pre-season when he was playing at right back, he looked really explosive going up there and linking up with the midfielders. He got further forward. I just think he's got something about him. I really do. I think he's calm and composed on the ball. I want to see him get more opportunities in this team. Then I put Kirraver in the 6, just because I'm used to him being there, to be honest with you. I like the way that he plays his football in that role. Then I put Kane on the right-hand side and Jones on the left-hand side of the midfield. More just to kind of link that up, if I'm honest with you. I think he can assist in the attack if he needs to and run from deep like we saw the other day against Shrewsbury. I think he can do that. But I think just having that little bit of tenacity in the midfield, a little bit of confidence in midfield will help a lot. Elliott on the right hand side, just don't want to see him in there. Then I have put Hardy in the centre and Miller on the left. I know there's the discussion, like I'm sure you'll bring it up, but I just think Miller, having played on the left in Scotland for a bit, yes, I know he's number 9, but he can do that, and I just don't want to. I want Jones in that midfield for me. That's why I haven't put Jones on the left hand side.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely agree, because with that team, I'm not going to give my starting 11 prediction on here. You'll have to go over to the Redmen TV, obviously, to see that. Little plug in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, Jones in the midfield would make a lot of sense. You know, he's a player that has a lot of skill. He's the sort of player that we'll be turning to tonight to go and win this game for us. And in that midfield, he can dominate that midfield.
That's what I mean, yeah.
We saw in the first leg against Shrewsbury, I say first leg, in the first game against Shrewsbury, actually I thought their midfield did very well against us. And a player like Jones in that midfield would obviously give us a better chance at winning that midfield battle tonight. But for me, I back the midfield three of Chirivella, Kane and Clarkson, obviously.
No, that's fair. I know you speak very highly of Clarkson in there. Yeah. I haven't seen too much of him, if I'm being honest with you, Jack. That's why I haven't put him in there. But why do you think he'd be a better fit for that number 6?
For me, it's more the fact that I think with Clarkson in it as well, I know Clarkson's a very clever player. I know Klopp likes him a lot. I know Linders has come out and praised him from when he trains with the first team. There's a man that started the season with the under-18s and he just impresses week in, week out. Mm-hmm. You see him and he's tiny and you're like, bloody hell, like you can tell you're a kid. But he's an outstanding footballer and he has an incredible footballing mind.
Yeah.
And for me, him and Chirivella in the same team means that we can play a 4-2-3-1 if needed.
Yeah.
I mean, we have no idea what this game could be. It could be that we have a lot of the ball or that they have a lot of the ball, and in that case I think the 4-2-3-1 setup suits us better. I think the team that we're both suggesting it might be has a brilliant situation where we are able to play on the counter-attack if needed, but also we're in a situation where we can have a lot of the ball and play from there. A lot of the problem with the under-23s have been that we've had a lot of the ball, we've created chances, but we've not necessarily put them away. And at the same time, when we've not had the ball, we've had a leaky defence.
That's the main thing for me is, look, Shrewsbury are going to come out here and they want to win this game, and they're looking at this and going, this is the best chance we're going to have. We thought, we're coming up against Liverpool, we're going to get knocked out, and they've got their just rewards in terms of coming back in that in that first game, and now they're up against a severely weakened side. As much as we are going to talk about and praise all these players and talk about how good they are, it's going to be a tough game for them, Shrewsbury, if we're going to really go at them. And I think defensively, that's where we need to be quite resolute. And I think with the 4-2-3-1, and you're speaking about putting Clarkson in alongside Chirivella, is the way to go. You need to be able to have someone who can drop in, get in between the lines and cover as well for the fullbacks who are going to be getting up. And you're telling Jones and Kane to kind of sacrifice their game if we're playing a 4-3-3, which I'm sure they'll be able to do, but it's going to be very hard for them. Whereas if you do have a Chirivella and Clarkson there in the holding 6 roles, be able to come kind of back in and give a lot more stability on the wings. It just depends how Shrewsbury kind of come out. It's weird.
We'll talk about Van den Berg now, because both of us didn't pick Van den Berg in our starting 11s. We've both gone with Huever and Boyes, and the simple reason for that is Van den Berg just hasn't been good enough this season. And for me, personally, if he plays, then the 4-2-3-1 is a definite, because if he plays, then we're very vulnerable defensively. Saying that,
why would we play him then? Why? Because I know we were having a conversation before, and again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who you think should be playing centre half? Boys might not even be in there. Maybe you want to see Huever and Van den Berg in there. But why do you think Van den Berg's not up to it, and Huever, who hasn't played too many games for this team, would be better in that role?
For me, Huever has shown a lot more. So every time I watch Huever, you can see a player there. Van den Berg, you watch him, and the first thing you can tell is how he's vulnerable. Against Aston Villa, I know he played on the right-hand side, but Huever was one of the best players on the pitch until obviously he had a problem with cramp because he'd not played much football, or well, he's had a bit of a difficult season where he's played a lot of football and then he's had a stop because he had a break in between the under 17s World Cup. And to be honest with you, I love him at centre back. I prefer him at centre back, and him alongside Neco Williams would just be outstanding. And I really think he will be one of the standout players tonight. Morgan Boyes as well has been outstanding all season. I was worried for the under 23s when Huever was going off to the World Cup, but Boyes was superb, and I think it'd be unfair on the lad to put Vandenberg in instead of him. But I would understand Critchley's reasoning, because you look at it, and yes, he's been a vulnerable player for us this season, Vandenberg, but he's experienced. He's played a lot in the Eredivisie, and I've seen a lot of people, again, a player we'll talk about later, but saying Liam Miller needs to start because he's experienced. And if you're saying that, then Sepp Vandenberg has to start too, because look how much football he's played at a good level.
100%. And I think something that we need to speak about is the physicality that's going to be present in this game, like you just said. I think the main thing is this team, the Shrewsbury side, is going to go, right, we're coming up against kids here. We are coming up against kids. Okay, they might have more skill than us. They're in Liverpool's academy and whatever. All we need to do is push them off the ball. And I know it sounds stupid, but I've seen them in many a pre-season, and a lot of times when I've watched these kids, they just get pushed off the ball, and it's not because they're bad. It's by virtue of them being kids, and these are grown men. These are like 26, 27, 28-year-old men. The peak physically, and just go and get away, mate. If I need to push you off the ball, I can do, and that's one thing I'm quite worried about. And maybe that's why you put a Vandenberg in there, because he is big. He will be able to compete in the air. I know he kind of got bullied.
He loses his head a lot as well, though, that's the issue, I think.
He did get bullied, but I think if he needs to show something here. I think if he wants to have any ambitions of moving further up in Liverpool's thoughts, you've got to go out there and you've got to be a leader on the pitch, for me, as a centre-half.
Knowing our look, now Vandenberg will play and he'll be man of the match. But
I hope he does.
I hope he does.
I'd love that, and that's the thing, is there's so much potential in these players that they could just go out there and have a worldie game.
Yeah, completely agree. And, you know, there have been moments from Sepp Vandenberg this season. I remember me and James talking about at one point that actually he had a bit of a turn in form and hopefully it stayed, but then it just crashed down for him. But we do have to give him time. This is a young lad. He's come to a new country, his first season. It's just, I'm comparing him to Huever, who obviously Huever really shone last season in his first season. He ended up having his first team debut by January and looking very good against Wolves on his first team debut. And Sepp Vandenberg just hasn't been like that for me. Go into left back now, obviously. Larouci, we know, James Pearce tweeted earlier, he failed a fitness test. He will not be able to play tonight. Adam Lewis or Galicia then, we've both opted for Adam Lewis. I am so excited to see this man again tonight.
100%. I mean, he's been out for a while. I think it was 3 months he was out with an ACL. And you're looking at it, because I saw him in pre-season. I thought, wow, what a player we've got here. And just in terms of his tenacity, his delivery into the box. Yes, he was small at the time. I don't know if he's shot up since. I haven't seen. If he's still small, that's going to be a thing. But just, like I say, his delivery is unbelievable. And that's what you need in this kind of team. And it's something that we thrive on in the first team as well. I think it's fantastic. Like I say about his tenacity, you see it on the right-hand side with Williams, getting stuck in, really pressing high up, because he knows he has the recovery pace in behind, and I think that's going to be massive. I think this is going to be a massive standpoint for him, where he goes, I've been out for this long, he will have been gutted, that he didn't get a chance in these games because he was out with injury, and now it's his chance to go, right, think of me every single time. This is like Yasser Larouci's spot, and he's lost his head, and you can see that. That's what he needs to do now, is be everything defensively Yasser Larouci wasn't. Because Larouci's great going forward, and I know he plays further forward for the under-23s, he does. But it's the one thing that Robertson and Trent are good at, to be fair, Robertson more so, is they're solid defensively first and foremost. You've got to be that, especially coming up against Shrewsbury are going to come out here. I know they're not very good, they're not, but they're going to come out here and go, right, we can have a go at this team, and I want to see him. Even if he doesn't get an assist and he doesn't get up the pitch as much as Larouci can do, I want to see him be solid there. And look, Williams made a few mistakes against Shrewsbury away. they need to be solid there, and I think Adam Lewis will be.
The thing for me is, if we're going to win tonight, we need to breathe that. We need players that are passionate and go in the game and want to win. That's what we didn't have when we went to Shrewsbury. The players went 2-0 up, we sat back and we looked scared. We didn't look like we wanted it. We need to go into it with fight, and Adam Lewis is a player that will be up for it.
Yeah.
He's missed most of the season. He got in a really good situation in pre-season where we were all talking about him and Larouci and how good they both were to be fighting for Robertson's understudy. We're in a situation where we are likely to go and sign a left back for cover in the summer. We just are. But Adam Lewis has an opportunity tonight to show Jurgen Klopp and all of us that actually he is the perfect understudy for Andy Robertson. He can be like Neco Williams is, where we go, mad that we've got two of the best. Right. Well, the thing is, for me, I think Neco Williams is one of the only players that plays like, in my opinion, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is the best right back in the world.
Yeah.
He's one of the only players worldwide to do it, and it's just mad that we have two players that can play like that in our club at the moment. And I think Adam Lewis has the capabilities of being the same on the left-hand side. And it'll be interesting to see him again tonight. My only worry is he's literally come back for one game of football since his injury. And is it too soon to throw him into a game like this? Saying that, Gallagher was dragged off against Wigan. Really, he had a poor game when we lost 3-0 there. And it's whether he's good enough for this either as well. So it's interesting, the two. I think left back is probably the weakest position tonight, and that's not because I'm saying Adam Lewis is bad, because I think Adam Lewis is a real talent, but it's just because I don't know how fit this kid is.
100%. I think, look, this is going to go for a lot of players in this team tonight, but I think you've got to go out there and not just play well, you've got to excite people. The same way Williams has, the same way Jones has, the same way Elliott has previously this season. Clever even to an extent. You've got to go out there and make people think about you in terms of the fans. Just go, ooh, that lad's got a little bit of something about him. And I think, look, like I say, they did do it in pre-season, and if any of you watched the pre-season games, you will know about a lot of these players if you haven't seen them play for the unders this season. I just think that's what it's about. You've got to go out there, and I'm excited now whenever Williams is on the pitch. I'm excited now whenever Jones has the ball at his feet, and that's what I think Lewis has missed out on. I think it's what we need to, what I want to see, to be honest.
Let's talk a bit about Jake Kane and Leighton Clarkson. Obviously, many people probably don't know too much about this. I know we touched briefly on Clarkson earlier on, but for me, these two are two players that can look at tonight. It'll be a massive experience for them. Their first, obviously, appearance for Liverpool and the first team when they start the season in the under-18s. For me, looking at Jake Kane, the start of the season, I was banging on about him needing to take a step up to the under-23s. He was outstanding for the under-18s. He played 10 games and he got 6 goals and 7 assists in 10 games for Barry at his side. Bad, He was pulling them through, dragging them through games. He was looking so comfortable. He was a player that could play in the 8, in the 10. He could even drop deeper in the 6. And he was just absolutely outstanding. Leighton Clarkson is a player that, kind of like Chirivella, where you'll watch the game and you won't necessarily notice him at the time, but you watch the game back and you're like, fucking hell, you're a clever lad. He's, as I said earlier, his football in mind is sensational, and it's easy to see why Klopp and Linders love him. I know you said earlier you don't know too much about them.
No, I don't. I mean, from what you've said, I'm actually quite excited to see them in this team. Another one where they could just come out of nowhere and just, all they need to do is have a solid game for me, Jack. Like, we could lose this game, and we'll talk about our score predictions later. We could lose this game, but it doesn't matter, really. It's going out there and showing something. Showing you have a little bit of spark. Showing, all right, maybe even if you get overrun like 6 or 7 times in the game, because you're playing against professional footballers, like I was talking about before, men, you might get overrun a little bit, but if you can show a little bit of a spark, people can go, okay, this kid's got something. When he bulks up a bit, when he gets a bit more game intelligence in there, just through sheer playing football matches, as long as you've got a little bit of something there, you make people think about you, and it's even, you're looking ahead for next season now, aren't you? Regardless, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to get any more games in the first team, because you're coming up against Chelsea in the next round, you're not going to expect the likes of Kane or Clarkson or Boyes or Miller or Hardy or any of them to be playing again this season for the first team. This is a massive opportunity.
The thing for me, though, is if we go through this, I think Klopp will really start taking the FA Cup seriously, and it'll be a strong team against Chelsea. However, I believe that from then we will put out, although we'll have a strong team, the bench will be full of youngsters who have done well today, because there is no way that if we get through tonight that Klopp can ignore how good this young side is. And for me, as I say, I firmly believe that this team is capable, because listen, I know the EFL trophy, which people will draw me to, these lads didn't do too well in. You know, they got 1 point, crashed out of it, not particularly very good from us. However, this is the FA Cup, and these lads will know it, and like you say, they'll go into it knowing they're playing at Anfield. And this is one question I want to ask you before we wrap it up, really. For me tonight, the mood at Anfield, I want to be electric. I don't particularly think it's going to be.
That's the problem, Joe.
Which is the issue.
Yeah.
But I think for these young lads to walk out at Anfield with the crowd absolutely behind them would be incredible for them, and will only make them better. We've seen Elliot when he played against Arsenal, how it touched him when he heard "You'll Never Walk Alone" when he walked first out on the pitch. You saw the performance from the young lads then, and yes, there were more leaders in that team, but I've seen a lot of performances from these lads this season, but they've not been anything like when they've been with the first team, and that is why I'm confident that we'll win tonight.
No, it's fair. I mean, look, I believe that they'll get a great rendition of "You Never Walk Alone." I believe that when they score, there'll be a big uproar. I don't think there's going to be the same chanting or anything like that at all, and I don't mean that because they're not good enough, but I just feel like the game's going to be a tiny bit flat. Saying that, if it's not, everyone's going to get off the seat, and that's the thing, is there will be songs, there will be chanting going on. These players need to do it on the pitch for me. The first team has earned that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The first team has very much earned the fact that we now sing from the start all the way through to the end, because they put utmost performance, like 100% in every time they go on the field. These players need to do that, and I have no doubt they won't. If that makes it, I have no doubt they will. I think that's the right way of saying it. They're going to put everything on the field, and if they do that, they'll get rewarded from the fans, 100%. It's going to be a tough game, to be honest with you, Jack. And I can see Shrewsbury nicking a few goals there, and then it's about seeing what this team is made of.
I was just about to say, for me tonight, don't be disheartened if we go 2-3-0 down, because these lads have shown before that a 2-0, 3-0 deficit is nothing to them. But at the same time, if we're 2-3 goals up, still be a bit worried, because this team scores goals and it leaks goals, and that is just fact.
So
and we've seen from Shrewsbury this season, exactly. And we've seen from Shrewsbury, and we've heard from Shrewsbury in League One this season, that they can see goals and they don't score too many. And for me, tonight could be pretty much a cricket score in both senses, really.
Could you see it being another 5-5 like the Arsenal?
Yeah.
Could you see that? Yeah.
100%. I think Shrewsbury have finishers. We've seen Jason Cummings finish very well, and at the same time, I think for us, Harvey Elliott, very good player. Yeah. He'll be up for it tonight. Curtis Jones, the same. Nobody's mentioning how Shrewsbury are going to line up.
No doubt.
Exactly.
Because this team, we know that there's quality out there. And
will they choose to rest players? They have a lot of games coming up. They're kind of sort of mid-table, aren't they? But are they technically fighting for survival?
Well, they were 16th last time, and then they've lost two games from them, so they might even be 17th. And that's the thing, is that they are down the bottom of League One. They have to be very careful. But saying that, I think they'll go full strength in this because it's a cup competition.
And they're looking at going to Stamford Bridge in the next round.
Making a lot. For them, it's all about the money, and there's a conversation about that there's no point getting into. We covered it on the news show on Redman News. But I think, look, to be honest, I've gone with, as a score prediction, 2-2 pens, and if it does that, then we win, or it's a 2-1 loss for me. And I don't think that would be a bad result, if I'm honest with you. I know I've gone kind of downbeat after all we've spoken about with these players being fantastic. I do think they are. I don't think it's bad if they lose this. I honestly don't think it is. Look, Klopp's kind of, when I'm saying throwing them under the bus, I don't mean like, oh, he's just dumping this competition on them, because it's a great opportunity. but we're not expecting them to go out there and win. I know you are because you've seen these and fair enough, but I just want to see them go out there and put a performance on the field and show them that you're fighting for the shirt, show us what you've got. That, like I was saying before, that little bit of spark, that little bit of something that we can hang on to and go, this could be you in the future. You can just build on that, go forward. Next time we play Shrewsbury, you're going to batter them, mate.
For me, I think they'll definitely show that tonight. That fight, that heart, that spirit, that is what this Liverpool side will show.
Yeah.
I can't promise you a result. I am hopeful, and that's because I know that this side has the potential, and that I was at Aston Villa when they lost 5-0. Did they deserve to lose 5-0? Absolutely not. The first 15 minutes was all Liverpool. Harvey Elliott looked superb. And, you know, that was close to the Villa first team. Yeah. That was very, very close to a Premier League side that looked like they're going to survive. Yes, they rested Grealish and players like that, but at the same time, it was still very strong from Aston Villa. And I think this side will give Shrewsbury a lot. I know League One, they play different style. Will it suit the kids? Probably not. But that it is something, and I do think it is going to be a very, very close game this evening. I have gone with 3-2.
Okay.
I think Harvey Elliott will score. I think Joe Hardy will score, and I think Curtis Jones will score. I think these lads as well will fight from behind to win. Oh, yeah. I really do. I think that they have enough to do that tonight, and this side is a side that will excite everyone. I can guarantee that. And we won't walk away disheartened. There'll be players that you look at tonight and go, I want to see more of them. Brilliant. And actually, if we do get through to Chelsea, I guarantee a lot of people after tonight will say, play the same team.
Yeah.
Because it's experience. And at the same time, I'm not disrespecting the FA Cup. I know everyone wants the treble and we should go strong against Chelsea. But at the same time, if these lads do what people don't expect tonight, then it's going to be very hard to drop them for that game.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Really.
Well, cheers very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hope you enjoy the game tonight. Thanks again, Tom, for coming with me, and thanks for Ben for being on the ones and twos. Cheers very much, and we'll see you again soon.